Welcome, my name is Sean Callanan from Sports Geek, and I'm going to quickly go through what the digital health tech entails and how it came about. Now all sports teams and leagues are part of the content game. They're competing with the likes of ESPN and Fox for the same eyeballs in the digital space. So part of what needs to happen at a sports team and a league digital department level is a better understanding of your fans. Now this infograph does a really good job of explaining how digital fans have different personas across this matrix, whether they be solid contributors like the megaphone and the open book sharing a lot of content, to the ones that are more consumption focused, the cautious, the info seekers, just consuming your content but not really contributing to the social chatter. What we've found is a lot of sports fans fit into that inner circle. They want to feel like they're part of the change room, part of the locker room. And it's really important to understand that there are different personas and different types of fans in your fan base. The other thing that we've found when we're doing a content audit is that some of these fans shift positions depending on the type of content that you push out. So someone who might be cautious and rarely tweeting or rarely posting, rarely commenting, if you hit them with a content piece that hits their passion point, they can quickly jump to that megaphone mode and amplify that content. So it's really important to have that mix of content coming through your content plan and just your overall content strategy to make sure that you're trying to move fans around to occasionally get them into that megaphone mode, to get them to amplify your content, but also to engage with your team and deepening the ties with your team. And that's one of the things that digital has done exceptionally well over the past 6 to 7 years as social media platforms have developed. Now what we're seeing is you have that new fan, the fan that's just getting started, becoming more of a fan of your team. And now via platforms like Facebook and Twitter and Snapchat and Instagram, we've got far more platforms and opportunities to tell a story. So rather than previously, it might have been some website articles, some direct mail, maybe some EDMs that would happen with your fans in the off season. We've gone from under 15 pieces of content over a couple of month period to literally thousands of posts. So that digital fan journey has definitely been accelerated as new digital platforms rise and as the capacity and the resourcing available in digital teams to deliver this type of content has risen. So exactly where does the digital deliver, and where does Sports Geek play in this? And really, it's one of the drivers of the digital health check. Early on, it was all about developing reach, and that's still going to be important, especially for new fans. How are you going to go about doing that, and what type of content is developing that reach and reaching those new fans? And then how do you go about engaging them? It's not always about making that sale first up. Sometimes it's really important to engage them on the platforms that they want to be engaged on. And then it's a matter of getting them across that money line. Now that money line might come in the form of data and getting their email and starting to know more about your fans, but then also obviously getting them to buy a ticket, getting them to buy merchandise, getting them to potentially partake in a digital product and paying for something like that. That becomes moving them across that money line and get into that conversion mode and look at different ways that you're looking to convert those fans. And then the last is to retain those fans, retain them as a season ticket holder, retain them as a member, retain them as someone that attends games, those kind of things. So to get started, what you really need to do is to have a well-defined content plan, understand what content you're producing, why you're producing it, who you're producing it for, and that has to go hand in hand with your data strategy in understanding your fans, the ones you have now, what they're looking for, and are you serving those different types of fans, and then what are you trying to get from them? What data are you trying to get? How are you filling out that picture? And then the third one is the commercialization of your digital assets and what you're doing in that space, and having that real commercial focus on understanding what you're looking to do from a digital point of view. And so that's pretty much where we've developed what we call the digital health check. It involves a workshop where we step through all the content, do a content audit review, looking at all the different content that is produced by the team, who it's produced for. One of the really good parts, one of the things that falls out of the content audit is the digital resources review. by assigning who is producing all this content. You are able to get some really good visibility of where your resources are getting stretched, how much your video team is producing, how much your graphics editor is producing, how much your journalists or your beat writers are producing. So you can get a feel for which one is driving the most revenue and how many resources you need to produce it. And then also audience analysis and development. So looking at who you're providing your content for. Are you serving all the markets that you need to? If you've seen any of my presentations or listened to my podcast, I talk about David Puddy of the world, and they use the Seinfeld reference of the super avid fans. A lot of digital content from sports teams and leagues are produced for the super avid fan. Now, what are we doing from a point of view of reaching the casual fan? What are we doing to reach teenagers? Those kind of things. You need to be looking at that audience analysis to realize that you need to be serving those different markets, and that's where the key audience personas start kicking in. Developing personas for the different types of fans, which will help your content producers understand who they're producing the content for and what they want those people to do. Whether they're putting something out on Snapchat because they want to engage that millennial audience, or they're putting something out on Instagram to get a double tap, to get that chatter, to get them tagging their mates. Different actions have different results, and you need to have an understanding of who you're producing the content for. Then we look at the content publishing matrix, looking at what platforms work best for the content that is produced, how often they should be promoted, where they should be promoted. The style of promotion is what the content publishing matrix looks like across all the different platforms. And then one of the biggest benefits of the audit is the commercialization assessment. By reviewing every single piece of content and then seeing which content is well commercialized, integrated with partners, and is driving value back to the business. What we've seen as an outcome of the digital health check is that on average $10,000 to $15,000 of commercial value that has not been realized. And it is the easiest thing to hand over to your commercial guys to say, hey, here's something that the fans are loving, it's hitting the right mark, it's hitting this demographic. Can you find a partner or a sponsor that wants to engage with this content? So it's a really quick win as part of the digital health check. Then the other part is also looking at your data position. So looking at your email audience and seeing how that matches up with what you're doing from a planning point of view. It's no good to be going and planning to produce content for all these different segments if you don't actually go back and check that against your own database. And then lastly, it's looking at ticketing promotion review, how your digital team goes about bringing in other results for your team, and that would be selling tickets. How do they use the digital channels, and looking at that kind of thing. So that's the digital health check. Please, no obligation to accept a call. So enter your details. You'll get a flyer and some info on the digital health check, but more than happy to take a call and talk you through it. Thank you very much, and I'll talk to you soon.